Hello everyone, this here is the LEGO Icons Loop Coaster, or at least a portion of it that you can actually see. It goes another foot beyond the top of the frame here. I built this thing live over on Twitch, where viewers actually banded together to help me to buy this for its retail price of $400 US. This thing uses over 3,750 pieces and comes with 11 minifigures. It has roughly the same footprint at the base as the previous Creator Expert roller coaster. However, the height is over 36 inches or 92 centimeters. So keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Oh, there's the top. I want to get right to the core functionality of the coaster, so I'm going to skip over the side builds and details of the minifigures until later and take you right to the main coaster cars. So there are 3 of them in the set, and that's just it. That's your entire coaster little mini train. So 3 individuals can be on there at a time, and they're intended to get on and off at this main platform, which we'll also look at closer later on. But basically, after the coaster passes the platform, it goes to an elevator. The elevator is operated by a hand crank over on the side over here. You can also hook it up to a single motor. With the simplest of mechanism, you just directly attach a motor there. It will work with powered up, it'll work with power functions. You don't need an app or anything, but a motor is not included. The elevator is going to take the thing all the way up to the top, then it's going to deposit it essentially onto the main track, and you'll go from there. All right, here's a live real-time demonstration. Here's the transition at the top. So as soon as the front car clears this vertical guide rail, it'll just move forward with gravity. Here's a look at that from the other side. After the initial 180-degree downward spiraling turn, which has a gentle grade to it, these sideways mounted 90-degree flat rails are used for the transition to a perfectly vertical drop. The cars scrub off most of their speed by the time they get to this final turn. So this rubber band loaded and driven tire that's hooked up to the main crank will just move them forward a little bit and advance them to the platform. The track here is at a slight downward angle, so this red stopper prevents any further forward motion until the elevator returns, which is just part of the single crank mechanism again. That moves the stopper out of the way. The cars advance forward, and this is ready to cycle again as soon as it re-engages. And off we go. The elevator itself uses a bunch of wheels in 3 different sizes around all 4 sides of this central column, which itself is a sandwich that's partially hollow with bricks and plates and tiles on the outside. That is what the elevator itself actually rides on, what keeps it located. What's lifting the elevator is this chain that consists of 222 of the smallest links. Yeah, it's a pain to put it together, but it happens, it just takes some time. 222 of the smallest links plus 33 of the wider ones, which are interchangeable, use the exact same connection system. It's a similar strategy to what they used on the haunted house or haunted mansion drop ride, where as long as you have the small chains going past, nothing's engaging, but as soon as you get these wider ones, they're able to hold on from the underside. So that's where you get that engagement and everything starts to lift. It also gives it space to slip once it gets to the top, which holds this in place at the top of the ride while the cars have a chance to slip away. So here's a different look at the top as the elevator approaches. You can see some of those wheels. You can see the chain back there. And right now, let that go. The wider chain links are right here. There's a little clutch mechanism in there that allows those to skip past. And you can see the wider ones coming on the other side. I'm gonna run out of those. That was 33. And as soon as those slip past, the whole thing disengages and back it goes. And up comes this. It's a counterweight, and it is actually built around two roller coaster cars, which are mounted vertically and running not necessarily on, but around this vertical roller coaster track that's dedicated just to that, just to the counterweight. Now, they could have done it with different techniques, I believe, but I think the designers really wanted to get more track into this set for people who want to do custom layouts, which is fantastic. And it's just a way to keep this from swinging around too much. And you did need to have a counterweight to avoid having a tremendous amount of torque that needs to be applied to that one little crank at the base, especially since it moves the thing fairly quickly. I'll show that again. So it's the chain that lifts the elevator, and then this tough string is the connection between the elevator and the counterweight. And all that just happens pretty automatically. Taking a look at some of the set dressing, obviously this here is the entrance, just a little archway, and then a dark tan colored path that goes diagonally back into the space. Got a little bit of an Easter egg over here with the red balloon that's stuck underneath a support. A nice little palm tree over here, and on the backside there's a stairway that goes up to the platform with a little ladybug beetle on it, and this has full railings, hand railings around the outside. The platform itself has plenty of space to form some small queues of people, but honestly, there's poor access for us huge figures to get in there, so it's not something that you're going to want to play with on a regular basis or be swapping figures in and out. Do notice on the posts back there, you can see some pictures, some sample pictures that have been taken from the camera along the way to show people being scared. There's also an operator's little kiosk over here with a screen. I also personally really appreciate the inclusion of more roller coaster track pieces used for the awning or the roof over the platform. This is another clear case to me of the designer just wanting to provide more pieces to the market in general, to custom builders, to mock makers, because the rest of this coaster does not have any of this piece here, this downward angled piece. This is all studs on top. So you got 4 here of these downward curved pieces, and then 1 more of the S, the slight elevation change. There's 1 of those used in the rest of the track, but this gives you a pair. Here's a quick look at the track parts inventory, and for a better look at this, you can download the instructions for yourself, the whole thing. But new in this set are the short little 4-stud long track piece, which is great for making small adjustments and filling in gaps. Also a twisted loop piece that moves slightly to the side to allow those loops to actually work, and a slightly twisted downward spiraling 90-degree turn. Getting down to side builds, this is just a small amount of terrain with a bench that can accommodate 2 minifigures. Squirrel is included, dark orange in color for that, and this is a sticker used for the map of a potential theme park that you could put together with official sets. You got the tricycle here for a balloon vendor, which has a little stand on the front, also a suggestion of a helium tank, and 2 of the same color, unfortunately, of the balloon animal, balloon dog there. I was hoping that they would have included at least 2 different colors for that in this set, since they've done multiple colors. This pretzel stand is nice and compact and holds a bunch of actual pretzels inside of it. Just a single sticker is used for that. Unfortunately, the pretzels inside are a little bit difficult to keep inside. They want to fall out the back, and the top one easily slips over the top of that little rod there. But I think that this thing looks nice. And then finally, a hot dog stand over here, which is a pretty good looking one. It's all stylized up, does use a single sticker on the front, and has plenty of space to actually make the pieces of food. Here are some workers to operate the balloon cart, the pretzel cart, and the hot dog stand. This is a brand new torso over here with lots of balloons on it. Very colorful, has a bunch of confetti as well. No alternate face prints for these three, but you will see some alternate faces for some others. Here are a few more adults, including a Lego employee who assumedly would be operating the ride. I tried to look up what the blue, white, and green represents, but it doesn't seem to represent much of anything except something very, very obscure. This is the face print here that has the hearing aid built into the side of it. I like the variety here with colors and things. I really like that torso print as well. A scared face is of course appropriate for a roller coaster or any high energy ride. The Lego employee with the full logo on the back, no alternate face here because that can be used with caps and such. And this guy does have an alternate face. More great variety of parts here with just regular citizens, just regular people who can be used anywhere in a city or a town, and these parts can all be easily and conveniently swapped between each other. Nothing is too specific to any particular individual. There are no logos or anything. Unfortunately, there is only one child in the set though. With the short legs, we easily could have gotten one or two minifigures swapped in with medium-sized legs. I think everything else could have been kept just the same, but some medium-sized posable legs would have been nice to see. Even though this character is only able to stand, they are able to stand in the roller coaster car and still move around just fine. No issue there. Wrapping things up, these are most of the leftover pieces, not including extra tread or chain link pieces, which I processed separately. And then as for the sticker sheet, that's what it looked like. All right, there are a few things that I need to talk to you about that are a little bit less straightforward, but first let's get into value. Yeah, this $400 US. That is a lot of money. Honestly, given its size and its mass, I'm not even shocked at that price anymore. In 2022, it does come with a decent selection of minifigures. But forget about number of parts. The fact that it has so many large and specialized pieces, and the fact that there is just so much stuff here. It's so tall. Okay, my hand right now is on the top of the tower. You don't see my hand, right? Still don't see my hand, right? Still don't see my hand. There. This is approximately 15 inches down. This right here. It's approximately 15 inches down from the top. This is less than 2/3 of the height. Right there, right there. It's not impressive, it's oppressive, honestly. This thing is crazy, crazy tall. And honestly, I just can't balk at the price too much because there is just so much stuff here and it weighs so much. I feel the mass of it. I feel how much stuff is here. The engineering is pretty dang solid. There are a ton of things that you can buy today reasonably that are way smaller than this, that are $400, that do less than this, that are $400 in the collectible kind of world. So the price isn't even the biggest deal here. Yes, it is really expensive. Expensive is obviously not for everyone. This is for folks who are well-to-do, without question. But for what it is, I want to hate the price, but I just can't, honestly. More important than the price, though, is just the daggone size. Because even people who can afford to have this and really, really want it, in many cases are not going to be able to find a place to put it, or definitely not going to have a good time putting it together and then transporting it to where it's going to be displayed or played with. I don't recommend playing with it a lot. I'll get back to that. But this thing is not comfortable to move around. Almost all the weight is down here, even though this is rather long. It's, I think, 32 inches end to end, I think was the official measurement there. Still, the center of gravity is like here. There's just so much solid mass in all of this tower here, and it's really unfortunate that it had to be this tall. I wish that it was like half to 2/3 its height. That would be great. But this is what was necessary in order to get the speed to do the double loop. And they wanted to do the double loop as a tour de force, and they did it. And congratulations to the designer/designers. It does tend to be more of a team effort than we're aware of from the outside. There's a primary designer for it, but a lot of people put their technical input into it. But yeah, congratulations. It works. But in order to work, it needed to be this tall. And it's almost outrageous. Here's the thing. End of 2021, I redid my review space in order to be able to comfortably accommodate larger sets. And when it came time to review the Titanic, it was no sweat. I was able to review it just fine. It fit into the space. I was able to turn it around and everything. No problem. The Ultimate Collector Series Millennium Falcon, I hadn't considered that. It's not as long, but it's got that depth. Yeah, I was able to spin it around and everything in frame, no problem. When it came time to review this, guess what I had to do? Tear all that out, put in a brand new height adjustable table, readjust things again, change my review studio in order to be able to capture this thing. And most of what I did was not even capturing it all in the frame at the same time, just to be able to accommodate that height. This is extraordinary, the height of it. And it's very awkward because there's not a lot of depth here. So moving it around is almost guaranteed to cause flex. It's going to be rattling back and forth as it's just moving through its normal operations. It rattles around. And so you move it from one place to another, and you're going to need to readjust, reconnect a bunch of things. You run it for a while. That's another thing. You run it for a while. You're going to need to readjust and reconnect things. It's one of the dirty little secrets of Lego stuff that moves a lot, such as when you look at these beautiful, beautiful, all custom locomotives and trains at conventions that people make that are huge and so intricate and everything. Most of the time they're not moving because they're down for maintenance. This isn't that bad, but there still is maintenance that's required if you're going to run it on a regular basis. I was very impressed that this did work. It is fault tolerant enough that it did work the very first time that I tried it, immediately after I finished the structural build. This is a very, very, very good design. It is surprisingly fault tolerant. Things can come a little bit loose and it'll still work. But over time, they'll come loose enough that you will need to come through and squeeze these things together horizontally. Push some of these things down vertically. Squeeze these back together. Make sure that everything is still connected as it tries to essentially rattle itself apart. There's a lot of force that goes through this. A lot of jerking motion as the elevator crashes down to the ground, and it'll bounce once. The counterweight goes way up. You can adjust the height of that. And ultimately, to have maximum success with this, you need to be really observant and familiar with mechanical design, mechanical things, and troubleshooting. Beware of what can go wrong before it does go wrong. Make sure that every single Technic axle throughout the entire mechanism is loose at every single step. That requires being really careful in there, because some of these things have tiny, tiny tolerances, and you need to move that gear or that bushing back and forth until it's loose on both sides. It has just a tiny bit of give, so there's no additional friction added to the system. You have to do that at every single step. The chain has to be uncomfortably tight, just like on the drop ride, the haunted house or haunted mansion ride. It has to be uncomfortably taut, and you, depending upon maybe the temperature, I think you may need to remove or add a link. So you need to have the confidence to do that, to pull this thing together, unlock it, let all the tension out, add one in, and then stretch it, or take one out and really stretch it in and get it, It is not a set for novices, for sure. And if you go and look at the public reviews on lego.com for this set, you'll see that the star rating is not great. And if you look at the written reviews from actual customers, you'll see a number of folks who are like, look, either this thing didn't work for me in the first place, or yeah, it worked for a little while and then it started tearing itself apart. I had to adjust some things. I ended up modifying it a little bit to make it a little bit stronger, and it still requires maintenance. Yep. That's the reality of owning this thing. It's amazing. It's incredible that this works. The whole thing. All of it, honestly. Uh-oh. Got a wire here. All of that, the fact that all of that works is simply awesome that it's Lego. It's just Lego. And all that they came up with new for doing the roller coaster things was just the track system. All that mechanism there just uses regular pieces. That's fantastic. It's awesome. But this is not for everybody. It is high priced. It is high maintenance. It wasn't that difficult to put together for me, although I did have to know from experience to be very, very careful at every single point in the technical details on the inside. Overall, I think that it is successful. I think that it should probably come with a stronger declaration that this is for more mature builders and folks who are willing to do troubleshooting. And I think that just comes with the territory. I don't think there's a whole lot that the design team could have done to make it significantly better than it is. It's Lego, and it's a double loop working coaster with mostly regular pieces. And I think that just has to be accepted. If you're not willing to accept that, that's perfectly fine. Nothing against you. If any of that sounds bad to you, don't buy it. Seriously. This is, I think, a lot harder to own than the original roller coaster, even though the original roller coaster was less tightly located. I think it needed a little bit more occasional squeezing together of the supports, especially the vertical supports and stuff in turns. But other than that, like all the mechanism on the inside here, I think is a lot more finicky, and the whole elevator thing is a lot more difficult to do in the first place, and to keep running smoothly and to troubleshoot if it does go wrong. So it's a long-winded way of saying, again, I like the set. Congrats to the designer. Yes, it is expensive, but I don't feel like it's a ripoff. It is definitely not for everybody, and I hope that this provided some useful insight for you, especially if you're considering buying this, or maybe you're on the fence, or maybe you're thinking about not getting it because you think that maybe it doesn't actually work that well. You might have seen some of the regular folks' reviews, cautioning things, and hopefully this is giving you more perspective and help you to make a decision. Or at the very least, hopefully it's been a little bit of entertainment for you, just seeing a Lego gee whiz thing doing a thing. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you again to my Twitch supporters for your incredible help in allowing this to happen in the first place. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.